Getting involved in dance has been one of the single most helpful things for improving my mental health, supporting my ADHD, moving through trauma, and just having joy in life, like having something to work towards and grow in and just like be excited about. So I'm creating this video because it has had such an impact on me, and I wish I started sooner. I wish someone like pushed me and cheered me on. So I am going to do that for you today. I am here today to cheer you on, tell you you got this, and help give you tips and support and guidance to really get started and improve your dancing. So let's get into it. So I went from being a brand new dancer about 9 months ago or so to performing with my studio's hip hop team, now taking a ton of classes and improving a ton. So I grew up as a gymnast, so I do not have a dance background, but I have a gymnast background. I was a competitive cheerleader all through high school, and now I'm 30 and really didn't have much movement in my life and just really missed it. And when I hit 30, I was like, it's time. We're gonna start dancing. However, as an anxious girly, I was really nervous to try out classes. I was doing it all by myself. I wasn't going with a friend. I was really scared of being bad, of just it being awkward, of I don't know. I don't even know what I was scared about, but I had to choose eventually my dreams and my values over my anxiety, which is how I really kind of got started. When I first started, I was just doing hip hop. They did not have a beginner hip hop class, so I jumped into the mixed level, which was really hard. And when I first started, I could not follow choreography at all. I was so discouraged and was just like, yeah, it's just like too late. I'm gonna give up. And so I actually like stopped for a few weeks and then eventually was like, no, like we got this. We are going to do this. It's okay to be a beginner and it's okay to just start somewhere. So I jumped back in and started taking a lot of different classes. So I was taking hip hop, contemporary, ballet, and a bunch of different classes to really try to improve faster. And in 9 months, I have seen so much improvement. I went from just like taking a class here and there and feeling absolutely awful to now like really training, taking a bunch of classes and being able to perform. And yeah, just seeing improvements in my strength and flexibility, confidence, and all the things. And I want that for you too. So here are my top tips if you are trying to be a dancer. Some of the main questions that I'm getting are, number one, how do I find a studio? How do I find somewhere to dance? So it's going to depend on where you live. Of course, there's going to be different access in different places, but I would start by literally just Googling dance studios. You can add in like dance studios with adults classes if you want. It is really worth it to kind of have this data gathering phase to kind of like find out all of the dance studios, what they offer, and call around and get some information. You can also email. Oftentimes dance studios will have an email if calling feels really overwhelming. I also turn to Instagram when trying to find studios. Like I would look at their Instagram and I feel like you can get a vibe of their dancers and the general kind of what the studio is like. So the studio that I've kind of landed on is like a very queer friendly, body positive studio. And so I could kind of like get that feel through Instagram, and it was really nice to go into it knowing that. If you can't find a studio, if you live really rurally, or if it's just not possible for other reasons, time, financial, whatever, there are a lot of really cool online classes that you can take. So literally just YouTube like dance classes. There's like free dance memberships and things like that. I don't have a ton of information on it because it's not what I've done, but just know that that's an option if you're like, I really want to dance, but I just can't get to a studio. From there, I would encourage you to just sample a bunch of classes. Create like a class menu for yourself. When I first got started, I put all of the different classes that I was able to take based on like my age and availability into my Google Calendar. And I just tried a bunch of different classes at a bunch of different studios and just kind of felt out the vibe of the studio, figured out what teachers I liked, and also sampled a lot of different styles. So if you don't know what style that you want to take, or if you just want to take a bunch, just try a bunch. There's literally no harm in trying. So just gather a bunch of info, find out the classes that you can take, and just try them. Just try them out. You don't need to commit, just give them a shot. Actually, my tips for improving and becoming a better dancer. Number one of the best things that I did was requesting to video class. Not the whole class, just like the end. You can video like 1 or 2 takes of the choreography. You can film from the back if that's like the way that you like learning, or from the front. And I would take those videos, go home, and just like practice over and over and over, because like I said and like I showed, I sucked at picking up choreography at the beginning. I was like, people were moving and I was like, I don't know what to do. But then when I took the choreography home and practiced at my own pace, I could come back to like the week 2 or 3 of choreography, which is usually how dance classes go. There's usually like 3 weeks of the same choreography. I could come back to the next 2 weeks like a lot more prepared, and that really boosted my confidence as well. Number 2, and this is especially true if you're really wanting to improve in dance and it's like just a little bit for more than just for fun for you, I would really encourage you to stretch and build strength outside of class. Especially stretching can go a very, very far way. So yeah, just building that into your routine, whether you do that at a gym or just like at your home, building those like foundational strength and flexibility pieces can be very, very helpful. Another tip on choreography, if picking up on it is harder for you. So some of the tips that I got that have been really helpful for me are to really just like focus on one thing at a time. So I started now focusing more on just like getting my feet and leg work before trying to get the arms. So try to keep it simple and focus on the main parts of the moves rather than the intricate details at first, which you can pick up later. So try to get just like the general overall flow rather than getting like nitty gritty about what the hands are doing or all of those things. Those things are important, but they can come later. Along with that, instead of just focusing on each individual move, focusing on what the transitions are in between the moves can really help kind of get that flow. And if you forget a move, you're not just like, shit, what do I do? You can have like that transition in between the moves, which can also really help with where you need to be with your weight and things like that. Another thing that I really resisted for a long time was to try to stop watching the teacher as soon as you can. So it can be really tempting when you're learning choreography to just watch the teacher the whole time, but that makes it really hard for the movements to like fully get into your body because you're mimicking someone. So the sooner you can try to look away and just try to like test yourself with the movements, the sooner it will get into your body, which I know is really, really hard, but it does make a really big difference. Another way to do that if you're like, I can't do that yet, is like on little breaks when they have like water breaks or where they're changing the music, I would really encourage you to try to go over the choreography, what you know yourself. And again, that like self-reliance will really help you build that muscle memory so much quicker than if you're just relying on watching someone the whole time. And then with choreography, I just want to say it gets easier. So I've done all of these tips that have really helped a lot, but I think what's helped the most is just time. I don't know exactly what it is, but just the more time that you have learning choreography, the more your brain will start to pick up on it quicker. So hang in there and do your very best and just know that it will get easier. And if it's something you struggle with at first, then it's absolutely fine and you can still get really good at dancing. The other thing that I get asked is like, how often should I take classes? There's no right or wrong. When I first started, I was only taking like 1. Now I am totally hyper fixated and obsessed and really have goals of becoming a good dancer. So I am taking like 5 classes a week in mixed kind of genres. The more classes you take, the more you'll improve. And I also recognize that there are time issues with that and financial access issues with that. Classes can be really expensive. They can take a lot of time. I don't have kids or things like that. So it's a lot easier for me to just kind of like take all of these classes. So take as many as you can that feel good and exciting and fun for you and are aligned with your goals. One thing about finances is a good thing to ask around is if you can do like class passes or a membership. Class passes can take a class down from like $20 to like $11, and a lot of studios are willing to do work trades. So So check in with your studio if you're like, I really don't have the financial means for a class. Oftentimes you can do some type of work trade with a studio. So definitely think about that. I also have been asking for like gift cards to my dance studio for the holidays and like birthdays. And that's always an option too. And then my last tip is to really just build community. So the more kind of like accountability and support that you have, the more likely you are to show up, practice out of class, and just kind of keep up with it. So I would encourage you to build personal relationships with your dance teachers. Go up and introduce yourself, say hi to them, connect with them. And that community piece of the dancing is really what keeps me continuing to return and show up and have that really high level of commitment when it's like Thursday at 8 p.m. and it's dark and rainy and I just don't want to go. Knowing that my friends will be there really, really helps. If you are on the fence and you are nervous or you have doubts and hesitations, just know that I am over here cheering you on. I know that you can do it. You deserve to do it. It will be so worth any fears or anxieties or difficulties that happen trying to find a studio or all of the things. So you got this, you got this, you got this. I could continue talking about this forever. I'm gonna pause and check in with you, see if you have any questions. Please drop them below and I will answer in the comments or in a separate video. I'm so passionate about this, so I will support you as much as I possibly can, so do not hesitate to ask. Please subscribe for all things mental health, lifestyle, dance, and much more. Talk to you soon. Bye!